Well, hey guys, welcome to Solar Cabin Channel. Hey, a couple of days ago I did a review, of the new DJI Neo drone. And so you know, I purchased this with my own money, out of my own pocket, and I was pretty frustrated because I had tried with my old phone and even with a newer phone to get this to activate, and it just wouldn't activate. Even after I got the app, which I'll talk about, after I got the app downloaded to my phone, I found out that the drone could only be activated with specific types of phones and if you have both a Wi-Fi and a phone service connection. Well, that pretty much left me out of the loop, so I wasn't able to use this drone. But because I made that video, I also got in contact with DJI, one of their representatives. His name is Liam, happens to be the same name as my grandson, by the way, and I talked to him, told him what the situation was, and I also got in contact with Amazon because I am an Amazon associate. I reviewed it for them and let them know that there were some problems there, and so they updated. Since then, they updated almost that same day. They updated the listing so that on Amazon now it tells you that you need to make sure that you have a phone that will work and is compatible with the drone. So hopefully that will keep people who may be in the same situation I am from getting a drone that they're going to be very frustrated with because they're not going to be able to fly it, because they're not going to be able to activate it with the phone that they have, or if they're trying to use an iPad or a tablet or something like that, they may not be able to use it. So that's one thing that I wanted to talk about. I have updated now this video to let you know that that information is now on the Amazon listing. But I still have some concerns about this drone, and I have some suggestions for DJI to make this a better product. They will be able to sell more of them if they follow these suggestions. They won't have frustrated customers if they follow these suggestions. So I'm going to talk about 5 suggestions for DJI that I really recommend that they consider for this drone. Now, the first one is because of the size of the app. And if you go on their website to DJI.com, go look at the DJI FLY app, okay? Now, this app is designed not to just work with the DJI Neo. It will actually work with 3 or 4 of their different drones. It is also designed so that it can interact with a controller if you're using your phone with a controller. So this app is a very large and complicated app, okay? And a lot of people are going to be using this if they could use this with a lighter version, and that's what I'm going to recommend here. If you could download a light version, DJI, make a light version of the DJI FLY app that just works with just the Neo. It doesn't need to work with all those other drones. Just make one just for the Neo and just for a phone controller, okay? Not the other controllers. If you did that, then it would probably work on a lot of the older phones, okay? And so they could download it and get it installed on their cheap old phones instead of having to buy a really expensive phone just to fly a drone. So that's number 1 suggestion, is that you make a light version of the DJI FLY app just for the Neo so that people can download it. That way more people would be able to buy it, more phones would be compatible with it, you're going to sell a lot more drones. So that just makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? All right, so that's suggestion number 1. Fix the app and make a light version. Okay. Suggestion number 2. When you get this out of the box, there's some really, it's not too confusing until you go to turn it off. Okay. Okay. So when you go to turn this on, you'll see the lights kind of flash up here. What you need to do is you need to click it until you see those lights and then click and hold. Now you see the propellers activate and you hear that little jingle. Okay, that tells you that it's on. This was a little bit confusing to me at first because you have to do it kind of in sequence. When you see the lights crossing, hold that button down, then it will come on. Okay, now the other problem that I ran into, these controls up here, they're pretty self-explanatory. They're easy to use. But then when I went to turn it off, I found some real confusion because it really doesn't tell you how to turn it off. And I had to keep playing with it to figure out how to turn the dang thing off. And what you have to do is you have to click it, and you see those lights on top there. You have to click it and hold it, and then it will start flashing across there, and then you have to click it again until it turns red, and then hold it down, and it will go off. That doesn't make any sense at all. If you want to turn the thing off, you should be able to just click and hold. That's how all other appliances pretty much work. You click and hold and it shuts it off. No, you can't do that with this drone. You have to click it until the lights go across the top, and then you have to click it again in order to turn it off. Okay, that's number 2 there. DJI work on these controls to make it easier to understand and put in your instructions to make it easier to understand. Now, the instruction manual that they send is really, really basic. You can go download, and this is what I'd recommend. You can download from the DJI website the full manual, and I recommend that you do that even before you maybe buy the drone. Go and look at the instructions and make sure you understand how to operate it. Go download the full instruction manual before you even buy that, or when you buy the drone, and that will save you some frustrations because it has a better explanation of some features on the drone that are not included in this. They just give you a little package, a fold out, and all it has is basically some pictures to get you started on it, and not much information else. So that's number 2, okay? Work on the controls to make them simpler. It should be able to just press and hold to turn it off, and make sure that the instruction manual gives you those instructions, and at least go and download the full instruction manual if you need to. Okay, number 3, and this is one that is not really so much that I have tested because I've not been able to fly this drone with my phone. So these are complaints that I've seen because I belong to a couple of different forums on Facebook for DJI Neo, and several people on there have reported the same situation, and I have some suggestions that might make it better. Now, this has a camera on it, of course, and it is a 4K camera from what they say, and it also can shoot in 1080p. Now, this camera only moves up and down, and then it uses an intelligent sensor. Basically, it compresses the video and zooms in to give it stabilization. It doesn't have a gimbal that will move in the different directions in order to give you a nice stable picture. So instead, it kind of fakes stabilization by zooming in on the picture. But however, people have complained that the quality of the 4K picture is not good. And I've looked at some of the videos and I can see where their complaint is legitimate. One of the reasons, and part of the reason is that they did not include any type of controls for the camera that you can use from your phone. Okay, now if you're using a controller, you've got a little bit more, you've got some different controls that you can use to make the camera work better and so your images look better. But if you're just using it as a selfie drone with your phone or downloading it directly from the drone to your computer, the video quality is just not that good. Okay, one of the things I really recommend, DJI, is that you update the software on the Neo so that we can use controls to adjust the image. You should be able to adjust the sharpness, the light brightness, the darkness, shadow, shades. You can even put some filters and a few things in there to make it fun for people to use this. Because you're getting quite a bit of frustration that the image quality is just not there. Okay, even though it says it's a 4K camera, the image quality is not as good as it should be for a 4K camera. Now, that is mostly a software thing that they can do. DJI can update and improve their software, and I really recommend that they do that right away so that people can use the drone so that it has better image quality so that their pictures come out right. All right, so that's number 3. Improve the image quality with some updates and allow people to control the specifics of images so that they can get better video quality when they're taking video or pictures. All right. Okay. Number 4 is more of a mechanical issue. They include this charging cable. One of the things that I noticed, and I'm real big on this because I charge stuff up all the time, and if you're charging this a lot, I think it's going to be an issue down the road. This cable, when it goes in, it's wiggly. See how wiggly it is? It shouldn't be that wiggly, DJI. It shouldn't be that wiggly, all right? That's going to end up being broke on the inside of the DJI because that mount where that is plugging into, that mount for that plug is not tight, all right? So I can see down the road, that's probably one of the places where you're going to have breakage is right there in the charging cable. And it's going to pull loose. If somebody happens to bump it wrong, they're going to break off that connection on the inside of the drone. So I would suggest that you look at that, mount that connection in there better. That's number 4. Okay, number 5 on my list of suggestions. Put some lights on this drone, DJI. All right, and most of these drones have some type of lights. You can put small LED lights on it, and they can be activated with a switch, so they're not on all the time, draining your battery. But people do want to fly this in low light. Now, I know DJI says it's not for nighttime use, but you know people are going to try and fly it at night, so put some lights on it, and that would help people to find the drone if it does happen to fly into a bush or something like that, and the light gets low. If the lights are on, that's going to help them to find it, even though it's not going to really help with the image because it's not going to shine down on the ground near bright enough for it to activate and make the camera image any better. The camera image is still going to be poor at night, and you're probably going to lose control because the light's not down on the ground. However, it might make it easier to find. It would definitely make it easier to see up in the sky if you put some LED lights on this thing, and you can have them turn on or off with a switch so you're not running down the battery. That is my non-flight review of the DJI Neo. And I think that they've done a good job on most of it, but I think they maybe released this a bit too soon, and they're using customers as their beta testers, and that's what some companies do. They'll use us as beta testers to find out all the different flaws and things that might be wrong with this, and then they'll fix them in later versions. Well, that can be really frustrating to the beta testers who thought they were getting a ready-to-go drone. I say that this drone has a lot of good potential. I think it's going to be an excellent drone. I think you should definitely consider it in your list of drones to get, but I don't think it's quite ready for prime time, folks. And so definitely DJI should do some improvements as soon as possible on this. All right, folks, have a great day.